Hello, Lions fans, and welcome to episode 63 of Just Lying Around, Detroit Lions podcast, presented by the World of Football. I'm your host, back this week. I had an unfortunate event last week, so we missed out on that podcast there against the Ravens, which we will talk about a little bit. But I am not alone. I am joined by my co-host and brother-in-law, Adam Snow. Adam, you had the weekend off. I saw you went to the WMU game. But other than
Yeah.
that, how was your weekend?
Other than like we were dealing with, we got some squirrel issues here. So if anybody sees a furry friend running around in the background, they're not supposed to be there. We're trying to take care of them. It's been a pain in the butt for a while now. So we're just still dealing with that, Kyle. And we're having issues connecting to the Facebook feed from the World of Football right now. Randy's supposed to be helping work to get that all figured out. So sorry to our Facebook friends who normally check out the show. But we are live on X and YouTube right now. Otherwise, pretty solid weekend. Western beat up on Rhode Island. Lions riding a nice 3-game winning streak. This has been great.
Yep. And the Tigers made the playoffs. So other than that, can't complain. Michigan didn't play this week, so can't be mad about that either.
Probably for the best because they probably would have gotten their butts kicked by whoever this weekend, and that would have just thrown this whole great weekend off.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's move on here. On today's show, we are going to cover the Lions versus Browns game, talk about the Ravens game, then look ahead at week 5, game against the Cincinnati Bengals. But before we talk about this game here, Browns versus the Lions, we're just going to talk a little bit about the Ravens game that happened last week, Monday night. So overall, just quick impressions. I thought this is probably like a top 1 or 2 game since the Dan Campbell era, Brad Holmes era. It was just back and forth at the beginning. As soon as the second or half started, around the middle of the third quarter, you kind of tell the Lions kind of took over that game and just ended up pounding the rock against the Ravens, stopping Lamar Jackson with 7 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson with an awesome punch out by the versus Derrick Henry. But yeah, really 38-30. It should have been 38-24. I hate counting garbage time scores there.
Wow.
But yeah, what did you think about that game, real quick?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought for sure I was going to get a text message saying, "Let's go! I'm fired up, big win." I was willing to stay up late, Kyle. I was willing to stay up an extra half hour to talk the Lions game, but no, it was a very tough game. Give the Ravens some credit; they were a tough team. The Lions pushed them around though. 2 90-yard drives during that game. Jeff Daniels got to play his Bobby Lane Blues, whatever that song is called, or the Ballad of Bobby Lane on the Manning cast, which I didn't get to watch live. I got to watch that after the fact. But it was a hard-fought game. And the fact the Lions came out on top, I think, showed the rest of the league, hey, this team's for real. And it made me feel good going forward that this team is fine. Like that first week in Green Bay, like I tried to say, like let's not get too down on it. Just like I said for the Bears game, let's not get too high on it. But the Lions right now are earning that reputation back, and they're proving why they were one of the NFC favorites coming into this year.
Yeah. Overall, it's a good game. I really enjoyed it. Like, it's just one of those games I'd always like. If I was didn't have any videos on YouTube, I'd pull that up and just rewatch it. But yeah. So let's jump into the Lions versus Browns game that just happened. We had the Browns 10, Lions 34 at home. Ruckus crowd there. Awesome game. A lot of talk out there. The Browns defense ranked number 1 against the Detroit Lions offense ranked number 1. So it's kind of interesting to see how that slugfest would go. And it sure did show those two sides of the ball clashing against each other, especially in the run game. Gibbs couldn't really get anything going, even though he did have 91 yards, more than the Browns' previous opponents altogether totaled per game. So yeah, overall, I don't know if I was worried. I was just kind of upset with those like drives kind of stalling for the Lions there. But against that Cleveland defense, I guess it was expected it was going to happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where I did think that the Cleveland defense was just playing lights out. They're playing really great. And Detroit just, no matter what they tried to do, they couldn't get it. Tried to force the ball to JMO a few times. Kind of bit Jared in the butt at one point with that really bad interception. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, to go up against the number one ranked defense and to still score 34, granted, one of them's on a great special teams play, but that just showed that the Lions were able to overcome a great defense and were able to make plays. And then they were also able to get some special teams action. That helped out a lot. That really kind of put the nail in the coffin, I think, for this one, kind of demoralized any hope the Browns had at all during this game. So I think that the Lions have a tough ball game, a tough squad, tough ball team. You just got to hope that some of these guys that got a little dinged up during the game are okay and that their injuries aren't super significant. They're in a stretch right now where they got a bunch of winnable games. We got the Chiefs, we got the Bengals next week, and then we got the Bucks after that. So all winnable games. I'm not saying the Bucks are a slouch. The Bucks might be the toughest team on that schedule. We'll see how the Chiefs do tonight. They should be taking the field now. I think I was going to look that up as we were talking. But
well, yeah, they're already playing.
Okay, yeah. So right now the Chiefs are down 7-3 as we record this. So, and then the Bengals play tomorrow night. So we won't really get a good look at the Bengals till tomorrow. So hard to say what kind of team Detroit's going to go up against. But as long as Detroit can play their game like this, they can mold themselves to do what they need to do. They tried to run it up. They got stuffed quite a few times, but then they found a lot of success on the outside, and they're a very adaptive team. And that's what I think is going to be a strength of this team this season is they're going to have to win a multitude of ways.
Yeah, different ways to win. Yep. So let's jump into some stats here. Then we'll talk about each quarter or halves. So we had the Lions side. Jared Goff, 16 of 27, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I don't know if Jared Goff kind of read the defense wrong there, but was not a good throw. And Jameson Williams wasn't helping out either there. Jahmyr Gibbs, 15 carries for 91 yards and 1 touchdown. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, 7 receptions for 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the Brown side, we had Joe Flacco, 16 of 34, 184 yards and 2 interceptions. Quinshawn Judkins, I think this guy he's going to be something special if the Cleveland Browns can ever figure out what they're doing on the offense with their offensive line and the quarterback situation. But he had a 21 carries for 82 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 receptions for 33 yards. And Isaiah Bonds, I believe he is a undrafted free agent. He had 3 receptions for 58 yards. So that's it for the few key players on both sides there. For team stats, total yards, Lions 277, Browns 249. Passing yards, pretty even there, 170 for the Browns, 168 for the Lions. Rushing yards, 109 for the Lions and 79 for the Browns. First downs, pretty much even there. Third down efficiency, big thing for the Lions defense, coming up big there, allowing the Browns 2 of 14. If third down efficiency really helped out. And they had 3 sacks total, 1 fumble loss, 2 interceptions, even though the Browns had 3 minutes more time of possession. Overall, yeah, that defense for the Lions really stood on their head today and really did their part in helping out this Lions team.
Yeah, they sure did. I think the clear weakness of this team is allowing a lot of the the intermediate passes. That's where a lot of my issues were. It's like just chunk yards. It's like, man, what are we doing? Like, we're not defending middle of the field. They prevented the deep pass, which is great for the most part, and they prevented a lot of the short game, but it was kind of that middle stuff that they had a problem. My wife loves Alex Anzalone, and anytime he's on screen, she's loving it. But there's one play in particular where he's out playing defensive back pretty much in coverage. Luckily, the guy didn't catch the ball, but I'm sitting there like I don't feel good when I see that guy playing that deep down the field. Luckily, like I said, incomplete pass. He was in on a couple great plays in a row. That was more bad angle, bad. I won't even say it was a bad throw, but it was just a bad angle of a throw for the receiver to try to catch that. Anzalone just happened to be there in his face to kind of disrupt it a little bit. But I don't know. I think the defense on the other hand, though, for the most part, looked pretty solid. Hutch got some pressure, got a sack, kind of got robbed a couple times because, man, we had some dumb penalties and one that I even think shouldn't have been a penalty. Kind of called back a couple of Detroit turnovers. So Detroit should have a couple more turnovers on this stat sheet that got called back. But it is what it is. You find ways to win, and that's what that team did. You know, Brian Branch had the tough penalty that extended the one drive where we had a sack return or a sack fumble recovery, and Branch made up for it. You know, batted a couple of passes. I think we held him to a field goal on that drive, or I can't remember how that drive ended, but Branch made up for it. You know, Branch usually does, so I wasn't worried about that. But overall, defense played pretty good against the Browns team that came out fire. Like, I was scared at first. That first drive of the Browns, Kyle, I don't know about you, but my butthole puckered that first drive. And Dad had to remind me because Dad came over today for the game. I tried to get him to stay for this show, but he's like, I don't do second-rate shows. And I was like, fine, screw you. And
okay, all right.
But he was just like, hey, the Broncos last night, the Western Michigan Broncos game we were at here in Kalamazoo, they were down 7-0 early to Rhode Island. Then Western proceeded to score 44 unanswered points. So he's like, it's okay. It's just one drive. And the Lions got to tighten up on that first drive of the game because that's every game now. They've allowed a first drive touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's something that's got to be cleaned up. And other than that, though, the defense does seem to get better as the game progresses. And that's what I like about this Kelvin Shepard-led defense.
Yeah. So, we already talked about the first half, second half, too. Also, overall, like you said, defense said as the game went on, they got better. I don't want to call out Terrion Arnold, but
call him out.
I hate to say they need to bench him, but if he keeps getting these holding penalties or letting these plays go, I know Kelvin Shepard in a post-game interview or midday interview said that they kind of leave him on an island, so it's kind of hard for him. But I don't know if you got to swing like a safety out to help him, but these holding penalties or pass interference penalties that he's causing, they have to stop. So we have Amika Robertson. I don't know if you need to start him and let as the game progress, if the Lions get ahead a little bit, throw Terrion Arnold out there, but something's got to change there.
I mean, I get it. I think it's easy to pick on he's not even a rookie this year, Terrion. He's a second-year guy. Yeah. I think he looks a lot better than he did last year, and he got better as last year went along. So I think it's just we got to keep letting him develop. But I mean, I don't know the extent of his injury. I haven't heard anything. You know, he went off the field today. Robertson stepped in, played fairly well. He let up that one big pass, but other than that, I thought Robertson played pretty good. But I don't know. I'm not quite in panic mode when it comes to Terrion Arnold yet. But when my wife even turns to me and goes, isn't that the same guy that's had like every pass interference penalty on him or whatever? I'm like, yeah. So when she knows, they got to address it. I don't think it's a red flag just yet. It hasn't cost us much, but it's address it during the week and we'll see. I don't think it's a big concern yet, but it's on the radar.
Yeah. So let me ask you another question here. I think it was the middle of the game there. Kept seeing a lot of 2 runs in the pass play. Was not working. A lot of forced balls to Jameson Williams. I think he was 0 for 6 before he finally caught a 27-yard pass. What'd you feel about that?
Clearly that was their game plan. They wanted to get JMO the ball, and I think the spots they picked to throw it to him were good spots. The ball just either ended up being in such a place that like there was that one where Jameson had to like turn, and it was a great place ball, but he just kind of got turned around a little bit, and it was like a half a second too long to where he needed to. If he would have been facing the right direction to catch the ball, he probably would have got it. But since he had to like go one way and then turn, I think that threw him off a little bit. The one route where Goff threw the interception, I don't know if it was just miscommunication, but I don't know. I think it's just one of those off days for them. They'll get it right. I'm not super worried about it. I am concerned that some of the play calling, like, yeah, you're going up against a great Browns defense. That defensive front for the Browns was no joke. I don't want to slight them in the least, but they kind of just felt like, well, let's attack them. And then they attacked them twice, and they couldn't really get a break on them. And then you're kind of forced to throw the ball because it's 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 6. And then the Browns defense knows what to expect. So it got a little predictable. While the Lions are big bullies and could maybe push them around a little bit, the Browns would push back. And I think the Lions needed to work a little more on getting out into space. They were trying to just impose their will like they did the Ravens, but this isn't the Ravens defense. And clearly they couldn't push them around the same. So I wish they would have adjusted their tactics. And they looked like they did for a bit. Then they kind of went back to it because after they were up by 10 points, I was like, okay, why are we going back to this kind of ground and pound 3 and outs? And this just, why don't you go back to what was working?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting too. David Montgomery wasn't really in this game either. He only had 9 carries for 12 yards. I don't know if they just got discouraged by the way that fronts are Lions offensive line versus that Browns defensive, not really opening up holes for them. But I'll say it again. They need to start Montgomery in these games to wear down the defense, then throw Jahmyr Gibbs in afterwards.
I don't agree with that a lot. I get what you're saying, but Jahmyr's your guy. He's the number 1 back. Montgomery's your 1A. It depends on how you want to start the game. If you want to start it fast, I get like you're saying, you want to wear him down. I don't know. Montgomery's kind of that hammer you want to throw in later. You let Jahmyr go out there. He's fast. You kind of get a feel for that defensive line. And then if it's like, oh, they're soft, if Gibbs can get through them, then Montgomery will have no issue. Then Monty's the one who comes in later, then really puts it on him. So I have no issue with them putting Montgomery first, putting Gibbs first, then Montgomery. So I don't know. I think that what they're doing in terms of their who's starting and who's sitting on the sideline at first is fine. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. The point I'm making is kind of like, this Browns defense is ranked number 1. Let's bruise them up a little bit. But if it's like a different team where their front 4 is not very good, then yeah, let's throw Jahmyr Gibbs out there because he will be able to get to that second level, make guys miss right away. And then, those games I would definitely start Jahmyr Gibbs. So yeah, anything else you want to add to the about this game?
Trying to think. I just think the Browns, man, despite that score, despite their record, that Browns team's got guys. They got a lot of tough players on that defense. So, I'd still be careful around the Browns if I was anybody. Like, don't sleep on them. I know the Lions won by 24, but man, Goff got lucky a few times. He escaped with no sacks. Myles Garrett got back there though, so all the credit to Myles Garrett. He put a lot of pressure on there. He made fools out of Decker and Laporte at a couple points. I don't think he really got much on Sewell though. I thought Sewell held his own when he needed to, but there were just a couple times where Garrett got in the backfield a little too close for comfort.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. They ran like a chip play, Laporta against Myles Garrett, and then Myles Garrett ran free. I was like, what is going on? Who drew up that play?
Yeah, as great of a blocking tight end as Laporta can be, that was a matchup that even I'd be like, guys, I know he's good at blocking, but this is Myles freaking Garrett.
Yeah,
you might want to double. You might want to, if you're going to do that, you might need to double team him first, then let Laporta, get out to the flat or leak out or whatever, however you want to run up a play like that. But I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, we got the dub. I'm glad with that. And they won by 24, so that's all a plus. It was nice to see Khalif Raymond get in the end zone with a special teams play like that. That was a great return, by the way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This was I won't say an easy win. I was a little on edge for some of it because I was like, man, the Browns had the potential to string a few things together, and they just couldn't complete passes. They definitely couldn't take advantage of some Lions miscues on the defensive side of the ball. So I don't know, there's that. And that Jake Bates kicking a 58-yard field goal is a personal best. It's pretty nice too. The way that thing kind of shot and came back around.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, good game. Lions are 3-1. Vikings did lose today, so that's good. Help out that division lead there. We'll see how the Packers do as well. And
hey, as long as the Packers lose, either lose or do not win by 40 points, I'll be happy. Because for those of you who watched our weekly NFL picks on Wednesday, if the Packers win by 40, I have to jump through a table.
Well, if they win by 40, I think they need to get rid of the old Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones?
Yeah.
I don't think Jerry Jones is about to fire himself, but I don't know.
It's going to be very loud.
Aaron already texted me, Kyle, several tables on Amazon that should be pretty easy for my back to handle if I have to jump through a table this week. So I appreciate the love and support.
I have to roll you up in bubble wrap first. Okay. So let's move on to the game preview. Lions versus Bengals, week 5. Sunday, October 5th, 4:25 p.m. at Cincinnati. A few things I'd like to see. I don't know how their defense is ranked right now. I know they have Trey Henderson. I don't know how he's doing. All I know is that that defense kind of lets down the Cincinnati Bengals, and it's all about if Joe Burrow can, which he's out, score enough points to win the games there. So if that says anything or about how the Lions are going to do against them, but I'd like to see them get the running game going again, get those big holes open for Jahmyr Gibbs or David Montgomery so they can get to the second level and really run up the score there. And then also they, like I said, they have Joe Burrow's out, so they got who's their backup? Jake Browning. Okay. I'd like to see how they do against him. I know they played a team last week and it was not very good for the Browns or Bengals.
They played the Vikings last week. They got spanked.
Yeah, so let's see how the Lions do against him, if they can light him up, get a lot of sacks. And then also I'd like to see how Terrion Arnold's doing. If he's hurt, if he's going to be out for a couple games. There was a beat reporter in their locker room after the game saying he didn't have a sling on. He seemed okay walking around. So I don't know if he just got hurt a little bit, but he's all right. Then also Reed had that big hamstring scare there, had to be carted off the field. He's probably going to miss a couple games. Hopefully it's not any longer than that. But we do have great depth at the cornerback room right now. So if they need to hold him off until after the bye, I would definitely do that. Keep him healthy and coming out healthy once that bye is over with.
For sure.
Anything else you want to add about the preview there?
Yeah, like you said, Cincinnati's defense I'm curious about, especially after they let Minnesota scores so many points. They play the Broncos on Monday night, so that'll be an interesting watch. See how they handle the Broncos offense and Cincinnati's offense, if they can do anything, because the Broncos got a good defense too.
Yeah.
So if the Broncos defense can stop the Bengals offense, it'll make me feel a little more confident going into the game. You know, DJ Reader going back to Cincinnati is an interesting story to keep an eye on as well. His first game against the Bengals since coming to Detroit. So, should be interesting road game. I was hoping to get to this game. This was like the one game I circled like I would take a road trip for, and just didn't work out this year. But we'll see.
Yeah.
It does stick it that we're not playing Joe Burrow, because you'd like to play a team with their best weapons. But Jamar Chase is a handful for our corners regardless.
It'll be interesting if the Cincinnati Bengals record right now is what are
they're 2-1.
2-1. So if they lose tomorrow, 2-2, I could see a lot of Detroit fans going to this game and kind of 50-50 split on their fans for that game.
Yeah. I could see that as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see there. That's if you guys are going to well, obviously guys will watch it. Just keep an eye on the fans out there, the crowds out there when they pan to the seating area to see how many Detroit Lions fans are out there.
Another thing, Kyle, I want to bring up real quick. I saw this stat just now looking at the X that Lions edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson is the first player in franchise history to accumulate the following numbers over a 3-game span, or any 3-game span: 5 quarterback hits, 4 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. So Hutch playing pretty lights out these last 3 games.
Yeah,
I'm looking for him to have a big game next week.
A couple of those plays, I don't know. He comes up hurt a little bit. I don't know if they need to kind of rotate him a little more. I know that's one player you don't want to have out on plays, but I'm just a little nervous on his health right now.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. He, he got up in his own power. I think he just got the wind knocked out of him at one point. That one chip play, he got kind of knocked down. So,
yeah, hip check.
We'll see. Yeah,
it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to next week's game, so I can 4:25. If I have to work Sunday, I can actually sit down and watch the game instead of having to watch it on my phone at work.
True. Yep. Same.
So yeah, let's go ahead and close it out here.
All right, guys. We appreciate you checking out this week's show. If you need to find us, you can follow us on many social media platforms, including Facebook, X, Instagram, and Threads at TWOF Kalamazoo for the world of football. And we could find a lot of our stuff down in the episode description of these videos. Links down there. We'll be live, I guess, next week after the Lions-Bengals game, Sunday evening. So that's the next time you'll see us. Again, sorry for not having a show last week. Kyle had his issues going on. So we just kind of like, hey, it's all good. World of football kept, it wasn't even a good time to slot us in. We do live shows a few nights a week, and it just didn't work out. So it's all good, Kyle. Thoughts with you guys. I know my sister lost a long-time pet, and that's always tough. So,
yeah, it was pretty rough, but we're getting through it. So, yeah, that's it for us this week. Thanks for watching, subscribing, liking the videos. We really greatly appreciate it. Like Adam said, we will be live after the Bengals versus Lions game, hopefully with another Lions victory. And until then, remember, go Lions, and Lions are going to the Super Bowl.
Wow, I put that on video, huh?
Yep.
All right, bye, everybody. Go Lions.
See you later.